observing Black History Month since 1976. Cheryl White, the first African-American female jockey, was taking the horse racing world by storm in 1976.
Yeah, she began her career in neighboring Ohio, but won races across the nation. George Mallet joins us now with a look at White's remarkable career. George?
Well, Cheryl White passed away nearly 5 years ago in Youngstown, Ohio. A horsewoman to the core, she won over 200 thoroughbred races, but she also climbed into the saddle aboard quarter horses, Arabians, Paints, and Appaloosas, winning an additional 500 or more races. A reluctant superstar, she nonetheless was on the cover of the July 29, 1971 edition of Jet magazine.
Hombre Mio was ridden by jockey Cheryl White.
Cheryl White was born into a racetrack family. Her father, Raymond White Sr., was a successful trainer at Ohio's Thistledown racetrack near Cleveland. Her emergence as the nation's first black female jockey, though, had a lot more to do with the fact that she was uncommonly talented and unfailingly tough. Raymond White Jr. is Cheryl's younger brother and a racetracker, too.
As horse people, we know talent when we see it. So we see a talented rider. You know, if she was a black female and she was a terrible rider, she wouldn't have lasted 2 weeks.
Instead, Cheryl White lasted 2 decades, winning everywhere she rode from Ohio to California. Throughout her stunning career, she remained blissfully unconcerned with her place in history.
She just wanted to ride. She wasn't, into all the fame and being famous. I was her 9-year-old brother, and I was always bragging about her and telling people Cheryl White was my sister. And
when young Raymond found out Pittsburgh Pirates star Dave Cash was at one of his sister's races, he introduced himself as Cheryl White's brother and invited the second baseman into a winner's circle photo.
And I can tell you what, my Dave Cash knew who Cheryl White was, but I guarantee you Cheryl White didn't know who Dave Cash was. So, she probably looked at me like, what is he doing?
Throughout her career, Cheryl overcame racism and sexism with sheer talent. When asked about racism by interviewers early in her career, she would calmly talk about missing out on mounts because of her race, but she ultimately dropped that topic.
If you see her interviews, she says, yeah, I don't really experience much pushback. I don't have any problems. And it was almost like this shift happened, almost like somebody came up to her and said, hey, you need to quit talking about that.
Raymond maintains overt racism on the backside of America's racetracks is rare. Racehorse owners and trainers want to win, and Cheryl White was really good at doing that. Fact is, Cheryl White finished her racing career on top, encouraging a mid-level dappled gray steed named NBR Secret Cash to uncoil his lengthy stride at Los Alamitos. After that, she did it all, galloping horses in the mornings, training, even ascending to the role of racetrack steward.
Anybody that knows my sister will tell you that she could do every job on the racetrack, from the most menial job all the way up to being a steward. She could do every job proficiently and with excellence.
So it should come as no surprise the book Raymond wrote with New York Times reporter Sarah Maslin-Neer, The Jockey and Her Horse, is poised for re-release. It would seem the story of a standout jockey named Cheryl White has legs. Now, Cheryl White was only 17 when she made her racing debut. Her legacy may well be the Cheryl White Project. The project's goal is to break down barriers and inspire young black children and teens to pursue careers as jockeys and trainers in the world of horse racing.
All right, thank you, George. This kind of history is important.
Oh, yeah. African Americans were the backbone of the horse racing industry in the 18th and 19th centuries. But in the 20th century, African American jockeys and trainers began to be forced out of racing. So, George, thank you for that.